is the hard-tuned walkaround of a 1965 Volkswagen Beetle. Let's take a closer look at this VW time capsule. It was sold new on September 4th, 1965 from West Beetle Motors in Sunnyvale, California, to the first owner, who lived in Cupertino, California, in the heart of what would later become known as Silicon Valley. It has been in the San Francisco Bay Area its entire life. Sometime in the mid-1980s, the engine required a rebuild, and the block was replaced with a 1200cc engine case with numbers that indicate it was manufactured in 1962. The second owner lived just up the road in Redwood City, California, and purchased it in 1985. Her extensive records show it was driven and maintained regularly until 2000, when she parked it in her garage. After 36 years of ownership, the second owner decided it was time to sell, and in December of 2021, the current owner, who's a professional mechanic, purchased the Bug and made it roadworthy after 21 years of hibernation. That process involved a new 6-volt battery. The left front inner wheel bearing was replaced, as were the front drums, all of the wheel cylinders, and all of the soft brake lines. A new brake master cylinder was fitted. The fuel tank was removed and checked. The rubber bushing in the front of the steering column was replaced. Rear axle boots and seals were replaced. And you can see there are new flex lines at the rear as well. The generator was rebuilt with new bearings. The distributor was taken apart, cleaned, adjusted, and advance checked. The carburetor was cleaned and adjusted. It received an oil change, a fuel filter, and all new fuel flex lines, including the short one from the fuel tank to the tube in the shifter tunnel. And tune-up items like plugs, wires, condenser, rotor, all that stuff was refreshed. From a few feet away, it's a very presentable Beetle, and of course, up close, there are imperfections and flaws, which we'll get to in a moment. But let's look at some of the factors that compelled the current owner to pursue this particular example and return it to the road. The tip of the iceberg is the original California black plate. Open the trunk and you'll see original paint on the inside of the lid, and an original Volkswagen logo Continental spare fan belt clipped to the spare tire. Under the spare shows no evidence of paintwork or collision damage at the extremities of the body, and barring the brake fluid marks near the brake reservoir, the original paint is intact. Digging deeper into the trunk, original chalk marks are present in multiple locations. There's more original paint to be found in the fender wells. The right front still shows an assembly chalk mark. And all 4 corners are remarkably clean and straight. This Bug is a throwback to the condition you would have likely found one 40 years ago in the early 80s. original stamps and chalk marks. Sock shocks in good condition. An OEM muffler. Details like these persist throughout the car. Areas noted for corrosion are clean and dry. And the pan itself is straight and shows no signs of damage. Let's zoom in and get straight into condition flaws and imperfections. Front, there's a ding in the chrome. We believe the majority of the paint is original, and on the trunk lid, it shows some fading in thin spots, mostly on the left side. The roof shows a similar pattern. The drip rails are in good condition on both sides. The left front fender, as well as the deck lid, have been repainted, and the left front fender shows this depression here. The right front fender appears to have grazed something here at the front and at the rear edge at the same height. The passenger door shows some chips and a small ding on the body just behind the door. And thinning paint in sort of the elbow rest area. The passenger running board is dry. There are a few dimples at the leading edge of the right rear fender and this crease. Repainted deck lid. Moving forward, there are some light dings at the driver's side door and thin paint. The driver's side running board is better than the passenger side. The left rear fender shows the most issues, with some dimples up front these dents, and a ding here at the lower edge of the very back of the fender. Glass and rubber. The rear glass is excellent, and the rubber is not bad either. The wind wing rubber on both sides is fair, but more dry back on the side window glass. There's a small scratch on the driver's side wind wing glass. The windshield only has a few small rock chips, but the rubber is quite dry. And the quarter window rubber also falls into the dry category. Overall, the chrome is pretty good. The passenger side door handle has these lumps, whereas the driver's side does not. A number of the bumper overriders, this is the front, have a few imperfections and waves. This is the left rear overrider, this little wave there. And some pitting here on the right rear overrider. The 165 ADR15 tires were replaced in 2022. Let's dive into the interior. Let's be honest, it's kind of a mixed bag. The dash and gauges, radio, are all pretty good. Under dash is tidy. The rear view mirror is excellent. The headliner is a little on the dirty side. And it's got some small imperfections and some sun baking at the back and rips down below the window. These black seat covers are hiding the original, somewhat degraded upholstery underneath. With time, the carpet has discolored and is worn at the driver's left foot. The anti-theft shift lockout seen here was causing difficulty in the 3-to-2 downshift, so it's been replaced with this stock gear shift lever ball housing. And getting back to the carpet, it's dry and worn along the sills. And behind the seats, more of the new rubber floor matting. The back seat is sun-baked, it should be gray, kind of turned yellowish. And here's that dry area under the rear window. At one point, there'd been shag carpeting glued to that back area under the window, which was recently removed. The steering wheel itself has a few cracks. The horn button is excellent. Glove box.
Know someone or
Let's go underneath this 1965 Volkswagen Beetle. As previously mentioned, the pan is solid with no signs of crash or structural damage. There's some light surface corrosion, but no weak or compromised areas. And the bottom side of the transaxle and engine case. And it's worth mentioning, a common area of welding repairs to VW pans is the area under the battery box, which is solid and original here. The jack points are solid and intact. And under the deck lid, the engine compartment is pretty tidy. It may not be a numbers-matching engine case, but it is an incredibly smooth-running 1200cc Volkswagen. Records and paperwork. Original documents include a manual and the warranty service booklet. We've already gone through the work most recently performed, but the records from the second owner document both parts and maintenance from 1985 to 2000 when it was tucked away into a garage. This 1965 Volkswagen Beetle is the quintessential California example that's ready to be enjoyed as it is. Or it could be ready for a simple interior and rubber refresh. Or it could be a solid basis for a serious restoration. As it is, on the road, it elicits waves and nostalgia from so many who have shared the pleasurable experience of driving one of these surprisingly solid little cars.